West Valley City Council. Note that Mayor Bigelow is absent tonight on some personal business. The rest of the council is here present. We call on Councilwoman Karen Lang for an opening ceremony.
Would you please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move along to our minutes, the approval of the minutes of May 8th, 2018 to the council.
I move for approval of the minutes with one amendment on page 5. The record of the voting was not correct, and I've talked to Nicole about this, and she's going to correct that. So with that amendment, I move for approval.
Second.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the correction is, a little more specific.
There was a unanimous vote, but it says that one of our members, myself in particular, was voted no.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any further discussion? Then we'll call for a vote. Those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We now go to our public comment period, which is a time when we will take public comments from anybody who's come here to speak on anything that's on their mind. Now, we'll note that we have, I believe, 3 other public input opportunities on the agenda. So if you're here to speak on one of those issues, which would be the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District property tax increase, the application GPZ2 2018, a general plan change, etc. at 1580 West Whitlock Avenue, 2495 South, or application ZT7 2017, which is a repeal and reenact Title 11, the city sign ordinance. We ask you to hold comment at this time, and you will have all the time you need to make comment on those 3 items later on in our agenda. This opportunity is to speak on anything else. It's a 30-minute period. Each participant, each person that comments is limited to 5 minutes. It's not a question and answer. We will not be discussing things that are not on our agenda and the public's been given notice on, but this is an opportunity for you to address to the council concerns that you have, which we will listen to and perhaps take formal action on at a later time. So we have a sign-up list. We'll start there. First one on the list is Mr. Paul Nichols.
C. Nichols, 5329 West, 4100 South. I'm here on the traffic again. I've seen we've got some new officers. I wonder when we're going to get some, because I haven't seen only one in the last 3 weeks. So when we get some new officers, I'd like to see somebody on the highway again. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Next, we have D. Miller. Okay, thank you. Next, John Cross.
I'm John Cross, 2545 South, 3560 West. I think you guys have seen me in here for a minute. So I've been listening pretty much with the rezoning issue I've got. That is just a horrible nightmare that I've gotten back at me with Bo our long year. I really wanted to comment when I only been a couple people were here, because I checked out their neighborhood, and that's slowly turning into a nightmare. So I'd really like you not to make their place the nightmare that I'm dealing with. Mainly is the fact we used to have, with Mervin's distribution center, we had a 100-yard buffer area between essentially my property and the parking lot, which was just regular parking, some 18-wheelers. Now I have a 100-foot rock mess with heavy machinery backed up right within 30, 40 feet of the property because it overhangs where they back up. So it's running, it's banging, it's clanking, it's all being dropped. They start about 3 o'clock in the morning. There's really no way you can change it. You changed it into a manufacturing, so they need to manufacture. So I really don't know what we can do. It's just constant noise day and night. So really, I try to make more noise myself. So I just blast out the neighborhood with my stereos. So I guess that's really our only deal. The only other thing I like is that we could shut down the chillers at night, that whining of the coolers. I know we have to keep the plumbing and all that nice and cool. All the inventory needs to be nice and cool in the morning when the workers come in. But it's just irritating as hell. And then my last problem is with this and code enforcement. I mean, I went to code enforcement Monday of last week before I came in here. I was hoping to get the yard cleaned up that's directly adjacent to me, or at least warned. So I parked my ATV, my truck, all my crap all over my grass. I told them to warn the hell out of me too. We couldn't get anybody out. I went in and bitched yesterday. Nobody's ever working, doesn't seem like. Can't get anybody out. So even until today, no one has come out. The entire neighborhood's a bloody mess. I've got the addresses a mile long of where I can just drive by, see all the stuff that's happening. For instance, got a Blazer parked across the sidewalk, maybe only about that far, 2 flat tires on the back. Its registration sticker is 2015, meaning it was registered in 2014. So it's been parked there that long. No officer, nobody has been able to manage to see that, I guess, except for me. And nothing happens. So I'm just wondering what this is all about. And how ineffectual can you guys possibly look when you make all these rules, but we do nothing about it? So that's pretty much my piece. Thanks for listening. I hope I've been listened to instead of just heard. So, thank you.
Thank you. Allison Ostler?
I think that it's not on the agenda, the Highbury area. So I appreciate the opportunity to come and to have our voices heard. We've had some schedule conflicts, so we haven't been able to have as many of us this week in the Highbury area. But my name is Allison Ostler. I live at 5265 Gateshead Drive in the Homes in Highbury. We moved into our home in December of 2012, so we've been there about 5.5 years. And I'm sure you guys can tell that we all love our neighborhood. We've been here week after week, letting you guys know our concerns. When we decided to move from our previous home, we looked all over Salt Lake County and into Davis County. And I was very particular about what I wanted when we were going to move. And some of the things that drew us to Highbury are the proximity to 201, the shopping, the tree-lined streets, not only in the neighborhood, but along Parkway going towards businesses, the walking and bike trails, the family-friendly feel, the quiet streets, the quietness of the neighborhood. So even though you're really close to freeway access and to the shopping, then it's still nice and quiet. And now that Neil Armstrong Academy is open, then that school is a very big draw as well for our neighborhood. I'm very involved at the school. I volunteer in each of my kids' classes every week, so I'm there many hours each week. I do the playground in the mornings, and our school is very sought after. On the school website, there are parents that have made comments that they've moved into our neighborhood for the school. We have our school is a district school, but it's set up so that part of it is boundaries and part are students coming in on permits that want to come in. And numbers that I've heard is we have between 200 and 300 people applying to come into our school. And it's at the point where they can only get in at kindergarten for the most part because there are so many people that want to come. We have, as far as grades for our school, Armstrong and Monroe are the only ones that have a B grading. And then the neighboring schools, Gerald Wright, Stansbury, West Valley, they're to C. Carl Sandburg, Hillsdale, Valley Crest, Whittier, they're to D. So we have very high grading for our school. And although it's not the city council's worry how numbers would impact the school, I feel that it's the city council's responsibility to maintain the integrity of what makes our neighborhood, and makes Highbury the place that people want to be. Our neighborhood is highlighted on the city's general plan as a place of building and of wanting to build up. And in the city council, or on the general plan, it talks about that the city council should preserve and enhance its existing single-family neighborhoods. With a few limited exceptions, no land changes are suggested for the majority of single-family residential zones within the city. Rather than allowing density throughout the community, this plan focuses higher density housing and other more intense land uses along opportunity areas serviced by transit. Therefore, West Valley City should encourage high-quality new residential development. And I feel that putting in medium density negates that goal. It also talks in the vision that you guys encourage high-value homes on large lots on remaining residential land. And there's not a lot of remaining residential land. This land use strategy will guide development in a manner that continues to make West Valley City a great place to live, work, and play. Continuing down in section 7, it talks and says, given the substantial supply of moderate income housing, the city should encourage higher value housing with quality architecture and amenities such as trails, parks, and open space. Any new high-density development should only be considered in very particular instances and should be within walking distance of substantial transit infrastructure, which I don't feel our neighborhood qualifies as. And then the last that it talks about, based on the city's moderate income housing plan for 2014, the city has a substantial amount of affordable housing for moderate income households. What is lacking in the city is higher value housing. This fact is supported by the recently released regional analysis of impediments to fair housing choice for Salt Lake County, prepared by the Bureau of Economic and Business Research. The following excerpts are from this document. Lack of price diversity can impede fair housing choice. The lack of price diversity not only affects housing choice for low-income households, but also housing choice for higher income households. And at the end it says that West Valley City, and it includes Taylorsville as well, need to continue to concentrate on improving housing opportunities for higher income households. And so changing the zoning to the medium density, I feel negates that, and I hope that our voices are heard and that you guys listen to those that are most affected by any kind of change. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Oster was the last one that signed up in advance. Is there anybody else that's come to make public comment tonight? Please come ahead and say your name and address so we have that for our record.
My name is Jeremy Furbish. I live at 1391 West Parkway Avenue. And it came to my attention, thanks to Tom Hune and people that organized the meeting in the Chesterfield neighborhood, that there is a plan to rezone a 3-acre parcel on Whitlock and Chatham Street, I think.
That item is coming up later on our agenda, so that we have your comments.
I've totally missed that part of the meeting, and I apologize.
Well, it's coming later.
At that point.
We'd like you to do that so that when somebody looks up our agenda and what was spoken about on that issue, your comments will be in the right place.
Okay, all right. I will
So
sit down now.
we'll call that again. Anybody else that's here to make comment at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll close our public comment and ask the city manager, Wayne Pyle, if he has any comments.
No, sir, I'm good. Thank you.
To the city council for any council comments. Mr. Pyle, is there someone here from staff that could maybe address the ordinance issue with the gentleman that commented on that?
Yes, sir. We can do that.
Can take care of that maybe tonight. Thank you. No other comments. We'll proceed with item 7 on our agenda. says to receive a proposed property tax increase report from the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy, and I believe we have Mr. Alan Packard here for that. Thank you. We'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm one of the two assistant general managers employed at the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District, and understand that a few weeks ago a similar report was offered during a working session. Jordan Valley is proposing an increase in its property tax levy, about a 5 to 6% increase from what our assumption is of the new certified tax rate. The increase will be used to support a fairly robust capital projects program which Jordan Valley has underway at the present time. A couple of sample projects are the payment of fees for the Central Water Project. Jordan Valley is now paying just under $12 million a year, $11.7 million a year for our capital assessment for that project. We've got 2 more years of that. And then we have ongoing payments for the enclosure of the Provo Reservoir Canal project. The effect of the proposed tax increase on a residential home valued at $325,000 would increase its total annual property tax from what we assume it will be at the certified rate of $67.75 to $71.50 if we follow through with the proposed rate increase to a total $404, or $3.75 additional per year on a $325,000 home. Jordan Valley, as I mentioned, has a very active capital improvements program right now. Over the next 10 years, we are projecting to spend a little over $300 million in new capital projects. Those include repair and replacement and new projects to support growth in our service area. And the property tax would be applied uniformly throughout Jordan Valley service area, which is essentially all of Salt Lake County except Salt Lake City, Sandy City, Murray, Holiday, County Heights. Those are the exceptions. The rest of the county is in Jordan Valley service area. And with that, I'm happy to respond to questions that you might have.
Well, thank you, Mr. Packard, for that report. And we will now be accepting public input. I'd like to note that this is not a matter that the council takes action on. We don't vote or decide whether this tax increase goes forward or not. It's presented to us by the Conservancy District since we are part of that district. So we'll now receive any public input regarding the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District property tax increase proposal. Anybody who's here to speak on that, now would be the time. I don't see anybody, so we'll close the public hearing with respect to that issue. Move on to the next item on our agenda, which is application GPZ 2-2018 with accompanying ordinance 18-15, general plan change, and ordinance 18-16, a zoning map change. This concerns the property at 1580 West Whitlock Avenue. Now, Mr. Pyle, this has come to us a little bit differently than applications often come to us, in that the Planning Commission actually denied this. Therefore, we don't have a development agreement to review or vote on in conjunction with this.
Correct, sir.
So if we were to vote for approval, would approval be approving the planning commission's denial, or are we looking at this fresh, that approval would be approving the application, approving the ordinances, so forth?
So I see Nicole over here waving or nodding her head, so I'll let her address how format-wise how the decision would get.
So voting for approval would be voting for the ordinances. So if you're voting for denial, you'd be voting against the ordinances.
Okay, thank you. So, before we open it up for public input, what would we do, Mr. Pyle, if we were inclined to go ahead and approve these ordinances, even though they were denied by the planning commission, seeing that we have no development?
Yes, sir, thank you. So what we would recommend is if the council was so inclined to override the planning commission's recommendation and go ahead and approve the ordinance changes, that you would continue the item to a future date certain, so that would give us time to go back and prepare a development agreement. So pending or following commentary from the council to that effect, then we would take that commentary back and go develop the development agreement.
Okay. So an appropriate motion then would be to continue to a date certain to prepare a development agreement.
Right.
Thank you. Before we get to that point, we will receive public input regarding this application, GPZ 2-2018, the accompanying ordinances. I hereby open the public comment. Anyone who's come to speak about that, now will be the time. And please give us your name and address again, and then you have the time.
My name is Jeremy Furbish. I live at 1391 West Parkway Avenue. So what I'm hearing you guys saying is that the zoning board, I guess, has recommended that you guys keep things as it is now without approving the proposed changes to the general plan to let this development take place. Is that correct?
That's right, but this is really your opportunity to give us your opinions, your thoughts
Okay.
on the matter.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify to make sure I understood things correctly. Well, I live right down the street there at the corner of Derby and Parkway. And I don't know how many units are proposed for that change, but I understand that they want to put condos in there, and I think that would generally add to the traffic issues that we're already having in the neighborhood. And especially during the times where children are walking to school, basically everybody walks to Redwood Elementary through our neighborhood. And I'm very concerned that the pedestrian traffic will be greatly endangered by additional traffic. So I think that's one thing for you guys to consider when you make a decision. Other than that, I really have nothing else to speak to as far as this particular ordinance, but I would really not want to see additional higher density housing in that, on that land because of the traffic problems that it would present. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else that would like to comment on this application? Please give us your name and your address.
My name is Dean Miller. Address is 2531 South Hempstead Street. This was recently brought to my attention that they were looking to rezone it. I wanted to ask one clarifying question. Are they proposing and also to rezone it into non-agricultural area?
So the request is to rezone it to residential estate, which requires a smaller lot size than building homes on an agricultural.
Okay. Three different points that I have are one, if they do rezone it to be able to, even if it would be to do nothing more than 6 extra homes, I would not personally disagree with that. But if they are planning on doing something to the effect that is usual for that zoning, which would be duplexes, fourplexes, condominiums, etc., where you get a lot of extra traffic. We already get quite a bit. I've had to stand out on the street and slow traffic down because we get a great influx of traffic going by. I have 3 children, and it is already more of a danger than I would like to have there, as well as we chose to move into that area because we would be able to have animals, we would be able to have goats, chickens, etc. And being able to do so is a blessing, it's a privilege for the people that live there. If we change and rezone, and we start cutting off chunks of the agricultural zone area by rezoning it to higher density residential or et cetera, then that will take away from the rest of the residents and the size of our agriculturally zoned area, the privilege of owning it little bit by little bit. It will take away the ability to own those animals and have that environment. I've lived there for 20 plus years, and I can definitely say I do not want to see it turned into a higher density residential area.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else has come to comment on this application? Seeing none, we'll close the public input and turn it over to the council. I would, by way of clarification, note that with the current zoning of agricultural, if there would be allowed minimum lot size of 1/2 acre or 2 houses per acre. The residential estate zone, which has been applied for, would allow 2 to 3 units, no more than that, depending on the configuration of those lots. So to the council.
I move to deny this application TPZ-2018.
We have the 2 ordinances. So we'd be considering the first ordinance 1815.
18, yeah, ordinance is 1815-15.
So correct me if I'm wrong, motion to deny ordinance 1815. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comment or discussion? I'll turn to our city recorder for a vote.
Just to clarify, if we vote yes here, we're voting to deny.
That's right.
The ordinance, okay.
Councilman P.T. Simonu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Yoon,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion for denial is approved.
Okay, thank you. We next have ordinance 18-16, amending the zoning map.
I make the motion that we deny ordinance 18-16.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Comment? Then let's call for that for the vote as well.
Councilman Norfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Yoon,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman P.D. Simonu,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion for denial passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is application ZT 7-2017 filed by West Valley City. This is requesting an ordinance amendment to repeal, replace, reenact Title 11, which is the city's sign ordinance, clean up some issues there. And although we have other items on the sign ordinance that we plan to be discussing in the future, this is basically a cleanup ordinance to make it easier to read and understand and consistent with other ordinances. So with that said, we'll accept public input regarding application ZT-7-2017. If there's anybody here from the public to speak on this matter, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring the matter back to the council. We have for your review and consideration ordinance -18-17.
Move to approve ordinance 18-17.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Would we please have a vote, Ms. Kamak?
Councilman P.T. Simonu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes?
And Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item we have is Resolution 1856 to approve the purchase of 2 replacement ambulance cab and chassis for use by the fire department at a cost of $89,262 to the council.
I move for approval of resolution 18-56.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comment? Let's call for a vote.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes?
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman P.T. Simonu.
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 18-57, a lease agreement with Firehouse EMS Academy LLC for use of the classroom facility at Fire Station 73. Mr. Powell, would you be able to enlighten us a little bit on this lease and how it corresponds with our operation of the fire department?
Yes, sir. So this entity, Firehouse EMS Academy, is a private entity. They cooperate and work with our fire department and other agencies around the valley to provide training for EMT certification. So when they do that, they look for various locations in which they can hold that training, and we have provided that space to them before. They offer payment for that in the terms or in the form of a lease as it is proposed here. So that would be the purpose, and the terms as they're outlined in the amount of lease dollars that would come back to the city are used then to just further the fire department's operations.
Okay, thank you. In reviewing the lease, they're required to provide insurance. Is this lease subordinate to our use of the classroom wherever we want to do
Yes,
with our
sir.
department? To the council for any questions, comment, or action?
Move to approve resolution 18-57.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comment? Turn it over to the city recorder.
Councilman P.T. Simonu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes?
And Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item of business is Resolution 18-58, authorizing the city to purchase 1 cab and chassis from Young Ford, and it's an F-350 for the Public Works Department. And I believe this is a replacement of a 2008 truck at a cost of $39,875. Anything additional, Mr. Pyle?
No, sir. Thank you.
To the council.
I move for approval of resolution 18-58.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comment? We'll turn it over to the city recorder for a vote.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes?
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman P.T. Simonu.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Next, we have on our agenda what we term the consent agenda. 10 items tonight, which are typically items that are handled in the matter of course. Routine items tonight, they concern temporary construction easements and right-of-way contracts for construction projects that we have throughout the city, including our 4100 South reconstruction. Is there any item on the consent agenda that anybody would like to have further discussion or comment on, or we could take them individually or as a body?
I move to accept and approve the consent agenda in its totality.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Do we have a roll call vote on that? Would you please conduct that, Dan?
Councilman Fitzie Umanu. Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Hume.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. The next item we have is new business. I guess it's Resolution 18-69, an employment agreement contract with our city manager, Wayne Pyle. We had discussed this earlier as part of our study meeting to the council for any comment or action.
Would move to continue this item to date certain of next week, the 22nd of May.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to continue. Any discussion to that motion? We also have a roll call vote on this. Thank you. Would you please conduct that?
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Hume.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Bueller.
With a comment that we, as a body, have accepted certain due diligence to conduct within the next 7 days, so that we are prepared to act on this next week. I also vote that it be continued to next Tuesday.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Any need for a closed session? Seeing none, one final motion, please.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.